There are 10 personal rules that I used to grow my startup from zero within a 40-hour work week. I picked them up during 3 years working at Google while building my first startup and now building my second startup from scratch. Smart people I admire always say that great work happens within constraints, and I chose mine, which is working only 40 hours per week to build my own startup. Compared to other founders, the difference is quite simple. I work fewer hours and do fewer things. And yeah, some days I think, will this all work out? Will I regret not working 60, 70 hours per week? Will my competitors outwork me, and will people think that I'm less ambitious than others? Because yeah, I could easily work more hours in the evening, more hours in the weekends, as I did for my first startup. But every time I have those doubts and feelings or thoughts, I come to the conclusion that at the end, if I couldn't build my own startup on my own terms, it wouldn't be sustainable for me. So instead of working more hours or late night sessions, here are the 10 rules that actually move my founder journey forward. So the first 4 rules are all about attention and protecting your attention. So the first rule to protect my attention is to have no social media on my smartphone. And if I have social media channels like Substack or LinkedIn that I also use for my business, I use blocker apps like Opal to actually block out time so I can't access them throughout the weekend or after working hours. Rule number 2 is to have walks outside instead of consuming Netflix or news, which is quite tempting to do so, especially during lunch or whatever, but at the end this gives me like the focus, or also like the room for thoughts, instead of just consuming media in times where you could actually reflect on things. Rule number 3 is to have deep focus sessions in the mornings. So if the day allows, or if the schedule allows, I try to focus 4 hours in the morning just to reflect on the business, just come up with new ideas, or try to do problem solving in like a state of mind which is completely focused, without email, without distractions, without anything else, without meetings. So this is like one of the key pillars, I think, to move forward within like a short period of time. And rule number 4 to protect my attention is to use apps on the MacBook or on a laptop as well that block out emails, LinkedIn, whatever websites or whatever apps can distract you during those focus sessions. So instead of having like the option to switch between tabs or switch between email while you're actually thinking of a problem, those apps allow me to fully focus on it. And even if I click on my email, there will be like a banner showing me that, okay, you don't have the option to actually access the email during your focus session. And the key takeaway from those 4 rules that protect my attention is that you don't want to create an environment where you have to come up with your willpower to stay in the focus or to not access some apps or some social media or some news, but instead you want to have an environment where focus is the default and you have systems that protect your attention instead of you and your willpower. The next rules are all related to protecting your time and your clarity throughout the entrepreneurial journey. Rule number 5 is to reflect on my challenges while writing them down. And it's crazy the difference that it makes to just like think of problems instead of writing them down. And as soon as I sit down and write down my challenges, I usually come to a solution, or at least the next step. And it doesn't have to be writing on a notebook, but it can also be just like writing on a laptop in Notion or any other program, or just like a doc where you reflect on what is a challenge, what are the potential steps that I can take, and what are the extra steps that I want to take. And this can make a huge difference when it comes to problem solving in a short period of time. Rule number 6 is to protect my time as if every hour would cost a fortune. And it means that every meeting I take or every task I choose have to have top priority or have like clear value behind it. Otherwise it doesn't make sense to do it, because I only have 40 hours per week. So every hour counts, and every hour has to have a clear relationships to the goals that I set for the year or for the quarter or for the week. Rule number 7 is to only work on things that feel natural to me and also that I could do for decades from now. And this comes back to the idea of consistency and long-term game in terms of entrepreneurship. So that at the end you have repetitive tasks every week that are sometimes boring, but that you want to do and that you can do because it feels okay to you, it feels natural to you, it feels passionate to you, so that you can achieve your long-term goals by just having like those repetitive weeks where you put in the work and then see the results coming year or month after month, year after year. So this is more like a consistency and clarity thing or rule that I have for myself. Rule number 8 is to meditate before each workday. And this gives me real clarity, this gives me real calmness and also sanity in times where there might be a lot of uncertainty or a lot of doubts in my head, so that I can really structure my thoughts and reflect on them, or just observing them during meditation sessions. And the key takeaway of those 4 rules that are related to time and clarity is that you want to build up your own pace that you can hold for the next years, and it is sustainable, and that gives you the opportunity to build up a business that is really aligned to yourself and what you want to achieve in your life. The last two rules are related to the goal of staying as close as possible to reality and what's really happening in your business. Rule number 9 is that 90% of my meetings are with actual or potential customers. Coffee chats are nice, networking events are nice, and they are important sometimes, and I think it's also important to build your network. But at the end, I want to stay as close as possible to the customers that I'm serving and to actually understand what they're suffering from, what their goals are, and what pain points they have, so I can build a better product each week. And for me personally in my business, this also means that some days I don't even have a meeting. So instead of having meetings just to have meetings, I try to focus on other things and focus work instead of just having like a full calendar with meetings to feel busier or to feel like I'm more productive. And instead really focusing on what are the meetings that move the needle and will give me the opportunity to learn more from my customers and understand their pain better. Rule number 10 is that I log every hour and every task. I also build a digital time tracker for myself where I can put in every task, and I also track every minute or every hour that I took for those tasks. So at the end of the week, I have an overview of what I actually spent my time on and what I potentially could automate with AI. Those were the 10 rules that I used to grow my business within 40 hours per week and not more. And before we end this video, I have one question for you. If you had to pay 500 euros out of your own pocket for every hour that you work throughout the week, what would be the task from last week that feels like a complete waste of your money? Drop your answer in the comments, and if you want to get more insights from founders for founders, feel free to subscribe, and see you soon.